Hey everybody, I've got something to share with you really quickly here. I was just in the middle of getting my bike set up. I've got a big trip coming up. I've been actually doing a bunch of videos of installing the jerry cans, installing hand guards, electronics, the hard boxes back here. I didn't shoot a video of it, but you'll notice I painted the jerry can, was red, now it's silver, so it not only matches, but it'll reflect off the sunlight so that my fuel in those cans isn't getting quite as hot and it doesn't put as much pressure on the cans. Anyway, I got tons of things going on, getting ready for a really big trip, and somehow I need to be able to put some of these videos together and get them out. So this will be quick. I had a package arrive from Italy. I placed an order on a website called emlinimoto.com. Let me show you that real quick. I'm just going to get right into that and show you so you kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. So here's the logo, and maybe you can read the web address up there. I think I'm pronouncing that properly. Anyway, it's Italian. I placed an order, I got the product, it just arrived, and it's awesome. So I want to show you. It's an engine guard for the Himalayan, but it might be one that you haven't seen before. So this engine guard is from GIVI, and for a year now I've been looking at the SW Motec engine guard because it too has 3 mounting points, which makes it really stout. But there's a number of things about the GIVI model that it didn't take me long to get sold on wanting this one over the SW Motec. So no offense to them, I've got some other SW Motec stuff. It's a little bit more pricey, but usually their things seem like good quality. But these engine guards are pretty awesome. Let me show you why. First off, as you know, there's 3 mounting points, so I think that's pretty crucial. If you don't have a 3rd mounting point, if you have a bad wreck or somebody runs into you or who knows what, the bar could get bent inwards towards the bike. So with 3 points, you're spreading the impact out over the frame. This mounting point right here is pretty key for the GIVI model. It's totally different from SW Motec. SW Motec mounts up here. There's just a flap of steel back here that this bracket is bolted onto, and this bracket's connected to the head, so it's an engine brace. Well, the SW Motec bolts onto that, so if there's an impact, especially up high, that may just bend in and fold backwards. It's not super sturdy, and then if it does that, it could actually tweak your engine head and like put some torque on the engine head, and that could be catastrophic. So I do not like the idea of mounting an engine guard up here, and it doesn't make sense. An engine guard is meant to protect your engine, not possibly harm it, right? So there's that. This one right here, the GIVI model, it mounts right here against your frame, a really stout, really sturdy portion of the frame. This is just a plastic plug, so let me show you how this works, and then I'll get into some other nice features. It's a plastic plug, so you just pull it out. GIVI is going to provide you with a steel pipe with threading in both ends, and that's the threads are welded in there. This pipe goes in, and you now have a mounting point on both sides of the bike. So both sides of the engine guard are going to be mounted against each other and against the frame. And think about that when there's impact on the engine guard, it's going to actually transfer weight to the engine guard on the other side of the bike, which is super awesome. So let me show you kind of what this looks like. This bolt right here on the engine, that's the other mounting point at the top, and then down here gets bolted onto the frame behind the exhaust, so you're not going to be able to see that. But those are pretty standard locations for engine guards. So right like that. Pretty sweet. Now take a look at the finish on this engine guard. It looks just like the Himalayan engine. It's a black powder coating. Ties in with the bike, looks good. I noticed on the SW Motec, the finish on that was like shiny, glossy black. It doesn't match the engine, it doesn't match the frame here, which is kind of a satin black. So the finish looks good. This mounting point is awesome. And then look at this. So right here, this whole portion, that's angled. So it's angled steel. So totally reinforced. It's welded at the top. It's welded all around the pipe here. In comparison, if you look at other engine guards, they have one flat piece of metal, basically like this. It's just flat. So if you take a hit, what's going to happen? It's just going to bend in. Well, this one's all reinforced. So I don't know, you tell me, is that better or not? Seems better. There's that, and then GIVI also provides these. So they're kind of like a slider. It basically protects. You can mount it down here near the bottom of the engine guard. So if you go down, and especially on pavement, you could scrape the plastic up instead of your engine guard and then just replace this. You can also turn it around. I noticed it's smooth on the other side. So if you don't want to show the GIVI logo, then just flip it around. So this whole thing was like 110 or 118 bucks on that emlinimoto.com site. And then shipping was 44 bucks, and I got it in about a week. So for what, 160 bucks or something like that, the whole kit plus shipping, I think that's still better than the SW Motec. And this is built right. I mean, these guys really did it right. So anyway, everything was good with that website. That's the only one where I could find this for sale. I couldn't find it anywhere in the US, at least not online. If you search harder, maybe you'll find it. So that's that. I'll put a link to that website, the EM Linimoto, in the description of the video. I don't have any affiliation with them at this point in time, so I'm not getting anything out of it. I just think that this seems like the way to go for people. You know, up to you if you want to agree with me on that or not. But that's where you can buy them. And I'm gonna get them installed now because I got a lot of stuff going on and I got to get ready to hit the road for my big trip. I've got the engine guard installed, so I wanted to show you real quick, just do a final follow-up. It looks good. Hopefully everybody agrees with me on that. Super stout, really stout. One thing I hadn't noticed before was that this slider, which again, you don't have to put this on, and the other side has the GIVI logo, but I turned it over so the logo's on the other side. Anyway, the slider thing has where you can like put straps through here. So I'm not sure if somebody would want to do that, but you could. So you could have something here and then hanging and then strap it, you know, put a strap through there. So that's cool. And let me show you. Here's that, you get a better look at that angled reinforcement. Very nice. And this here, you don't have to do this, but I'm just telling you something that I did. There's a large flat washer behind here, and you can probably see a little bit of, it's a clear caulk, it's not fully dry yet. What I did was, on the surface of the frame around the round, you know, hole, that big tube, I put a clear caulk, silicone caulk, waterproof. I put that on first. Then when I mounted this, I put the washer against that and bolted through. So my intent was basically to make sure that water doesn't want to ever get down in and go inside the frame and go into that tube and cause some rusting. It's really not a big deal. You know, a Royal Enfield never had anything on there other than that plastic plug to begin with, which would keep out most any water, but I don't think it would seal it off entirely. And really, not a lot of water would want to go in there anyway, unless you, well, if you have to go through a deep river crossing, maybe it would want to get in there. So now I have caulk on both sides, silicone, so it's waterproofed. I had a little trouble with this one. Well, I had kind of a lot of trouble. You don't have a lot of space here. When you go to put your bolt in, it may be, you know, going in a little bit of an angle and hitting your exhaust. You can kind of pull the exhaust away and give yourself another millimeter or two, possibly, and maybe that's all you need. Unfortunately for me, the threaded area of the frame, maybe from their welding process or something, the threads weren't great, so the bolt wasn't grabbing in. So I had a lot of trouble. I kept fumbling around with it. The bolt wouldn't thread, and so finally I had to loosen up the hanger back here for the exhaust, and then the actual bracket here for the top, mounting the exhaust to the head. Take this nut off, the one on the other side. I think just take it off completely, and then you don't have to drop the whole exhaust off, but at least it'll really swing and move out of the way. And then you'll be able to get that bolt in, no problem. Another thing you might want to do is just go to the hardware store and get a shorter bolt. If the bolt was, I think, 3 millimeters shorter, you'd have no problem. So there's that. That'll help you out. And then on the other side, one little tip for you. Okay, see this oil line right here? Well, this bolt is really long. You know, it's about like that long. So on the other side, when you take the nut off on the other side and you go to tap this through, don't forget that this is here, because that's what I started to do. I was tapping it, and then the bolt was pushing on the oil line, and luckily I came over and looked why it wasn't moving, and it's there. So all you got to do, pull these two out. The oil cooler will drop forward. That'll move the line forward, and then you can get that bolt out, which came out pretty easy. I tapped it with wood on the other side, and then once it was flush on the other side, it was able to pull right out. That's it. All these were really easy. Again, I got the silicone caulk there. So that's it. And now I got a bunch of other stuff I gotta do, and maybe get a video posted of this right away, so it's just done and over with. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this was helpful for you.